This is the final result of our project. I added validation to all this field. The name is required, and in the age field we added validation. The minimum age required is 13 and the maximum age required is 65. And you cannot add letters, digits are only allowed. We cannot add letters. In the email input form, you can only add a valid email ID, otherwise it will show an error message. In the phone input field, it will check for the validity of the phone number. Minimum required length is 10 and only digits are allowed. You cannot add any other characters. In the message, we added a validation that minimum message length is 10 and the maximum message length is 15. It will show an error message if we enter more than 15 characters. When you click send message, it will reset the form. Go to console and you can see an object. This object contains all the details we entered in the form. You cannot submit this form without adding all valid details. You can download this entire project. The link is given in the description. I already created a project and also added a few HTML and CSS classes. It do not have any functionality. I only added CSS and HTML so that we can concentrate more on React part. Let's run this project. As you can see, we already done some HTML and CSS. There is no functionality. This is pure HTML and CSS form. Now stop this app. First we need to install one npm package. The name of this package is React Hook Form. It is one of the most popular form libraries for React. Go to get started and copy this, paste it in the terminal and press enter, and this will install this package to our project. First thing we need to do is to import use form. This will import use form from React Hook Form. Next step is to get a few methods from use form. First we are going to use register method. Register method is used to register input fields. If we go to the APIs of the official website, go to use forms and you can see register method. Scroll down, you can see two options. One is register with validation and other is register with validation and error message. We need to show error message. Basically what we need to do is add this register to all our input fields. Then we can use these validators like request, max length, min length, etc. First we are going to add a register method to all our input fields. First we are going to add register to our name field and also add a validator required. Name is the name of this field and we also added an error message. This field is required as user cannot leave this field empty. Now I am going to format this document by pressing Alt Shift F. As you can see, now it's look more structured and easy to read. This is done with the help of an extension called Prettier. You can also install this in your VS Code editor. I'm going to add register method with the required validator in every field. Let's copy this line and paste it inside the age input field. and change this name to age. Also edit the error message and change it to age is required. Next we are going to paste it inside the email input form and change this name to email. Also edit the error message and change it to email is required. Next paste it inside the phone input field and also change the name to phone and edit the error message and change it to phone is required. Also add this inside the message text area and change the name to message. Also edit the error message and change it to message is required. Now I am going to format this document by clicking Alt Shift F. As you can see, it is now formatted. Now go back to the top of this page. We are going to use handle submit. Inside the form tag, on submit event will call handle submit function, and inside this function we can add a method on submit. You can give any other name if you want. Let's create an on submit method. When you click on the submit button, this on submit method will be called and we get the data as parameter. Let's console log this data and see what is inside this data object. Now run this project. Add some random values and click send a message. Now go to console. This is the data object. In this object you can see all the values we entered in the form. Using handle submit method, we can get all the values as a JavaScript object. You can send this data to the server or whatever you like to do with this data. Next we are going to hide this error message and only show this if input field become invalid. For that we are going to use errors from form state. We are going to console log this error object. See what is inside the errors object. Click on send message button and go to console. There you can see error object. Inside the error object we can see every error and also the type of the error and the error message. Now we are going to use this error object to show and hide the warnings. Comment out this console log by clicking Ctrl/. Now we are going to show error warnings dynamically. We are going to use this AND condition. Name is the name of the field. Errors.name will only get true if there is an error. Then only this condition become true. So let's copy this and paste this inside the conditional operator. Now this error message will only show if errors.name is true. But if there is no error, errors.name is undefined. So this condition becomes false. As you can see, now the error message is gone. Now if you click the send message, it will show the error. Now the condition becomes true. If you type something, the error message will disappear and it will appear again if we clear the field. Instead of using this error message, we are going to use error message from errors object. Errors.name.message will give us the error message. This message is equal to the error message that we given inside the register method. If we click the send message again, the warning message is now coming from error subject. Next, we are going to copy this and replace the error message in age field. Change error.name to error.age. Replace error.name.message to error.age.message. Next step is to replace error message of email. Here also change the name to email and error.name.message to error.email.message. Next, we are going to replace the error message of phone number. Here, change the name to phone. Also replace error.name.message to error.phone.message. Also in the message field, we are going to replace the error message. Here also replace the name to message. Also change the error.name.message to error.message.message. Now let's run this project. Let's click on send message. As you can see, everything is working. All these error warnings are coming from error subject. Now clear all these errors and click send message. We need to clear all these fields after clicking send message. For that, go to the top of this page. Get a reset method from use form. We can call this reset method inside onSubmit method, and this will reset the form and clear all the values. Now go back to the project, add some values and click send message. As you can see, it cleared all the values. Next, we are going to add a few more validations. In the age field, we are going to add one more validator. Here in the age field, minimum value allowed is 13 and the error message is minimum age required is 13. If user enter any value below 13, this error message will be shown. Let's type some value below 13 and click send message. As you can see, the error message is now changed. It is showing minimum required age is 13. If you type any value equal to or greater than 13, the error message will disappear. Let's format this document once again. Now add one more validator. Max validator is used to set the maximum allowed value. Here the maximum allowed value is 65. We are going to add one more validator. It's the pattern validator. It uses regular expression to validate the input field. This is the regular expression we use. Numbers are only allowed, no other characters are allowed. Numbers between 0 and 9 are only allowed. If you are not familiar with regular expression, you can find large number of resources online. If you do not like to learn about the regular expression, you can just type whatever you want and you will get the result from Google. Scroll down, you can see this is the regular expression I used in this project. You don't have to learn regular expression. You can find almost everything by searching the web. Now I am going to type something other than numbers and click send message. You can see only numbers are allowed. Now type some value above 65. You can see the error message is changed. Now we are going to add one more validation inside email field. You can see we are again going to use the pattern validator. This regular expression will check whether it's a valid email or not. Now type something inside email field and click send message. You can see invalid email address. It's checking whether it's an valid email or not. If you enter a valid email, the error will disappear. It is checking whether the email is in correct format. Next, we are going to add a pattern validator inside phone field. Using regular expression, this pattern validator will check whether the phone number is valid or not. Only digits are allowed and also the minimum length is 10. The error message we given is invalid phone number. Let's type something inside the phone field and click send message. You can see the invalid phone number error. Now type a valid phone number. Warning is now gone. Next we are going to add validation inside message field. We are going to add two more validators. First one is min length. What this will do is it will show an error if the user enter less than 10 characters. Next validator is max length and value is 50. What this will do is it only allow 50 characters. If it is more than 50 characters, it will show some error. Type something inside a message and click send message. You can see the required minimum 10 characters. If we continue typing, the error message will disappear. If the character length exceeds 50, the error message will appear. This message is coming from the max length validator. Next, we are going to get one more method from use form. That is the trigger method. Trigger method is used to trigger the validation. If you look at the official documentation, you can see it is used to manually trigger input validation. If you type some invalid data into the form, the error messages are not immediately shown. It is shown only after we submit the form. We are going to use trigger method to show the error message immediately while user is typing on the form. For that, we need to add this trigger method inside every input field. First, we are going to add it inside the email field. We are going to call trigger method inside on key up event. Whenever we press and release any key in the keyboard, this method will be called. If we add email as a parameter inside a trigger method, only email validation is triggered. When we type something in email field, you can see the error start to appear immediately. We don't have to submit the form to trigger the validation. On each key release, the validation is triggered. Next, we are going to copy this and paste this inside every field. First, we are going to paste it inside the age field and change the email to age. Next, paste it inside the name field and change the email to name. Next, paste it inside the phone field and change the email to phone. Also paste this inside the message field and change the email to message. Now run the project. As you can see, warning messages are immediately shown. Let's quickly check if everything is working. Next, we are going to add a red border to the input field if the input field become invalid. For that, we are going to dynamically add an invalid class when the form become invalid. What we are doing here is whenever error.name become true, we are going to add an invalid class. Invalid class is already defined inside app.css. It's just a border color red. Whenever the error.name becomes true, the border color of input field changes to red. Okay, let's run this program. You can see the border color of the input become red whenever the form become invalid. Next, we are going to add this in every input field. Change the name to age. Add this inside email field. And change name to email. Also add this inside form field. And change name to phone. Also add this inside the message field. And change the name to message. Now I am going to quickly check if everything is working. As you can see, the red border is appearing in every field. Now our project React form validation is finished. Next I am going to show you some useful functions that you can use in your project. If you go back to the official documentation, you can see a watch method, which is a very useful method. It continuously watches for any changes in our form. Now we are going to get watch method from use form and console log watch method. Go back to our running project and go to console. Whenever we type something in the form, the watch method continuously watches for any changes and give us an object with all the values. I think it is a very useful method. Now comment this out. And the next useful method is onError method, which can be passed as a second argument of handle submit. If you submit the form with errors, onError method will be called, and you can get the errors object as a parameter of this method. If I submit this form without filling anything, you can see we get an error object with all the details of the errors. This is coming from the onError method. This method will be useful if you like to show some pop-up or alert when user clicks send message without filling all fields. Now I am going to remove onError method as we are not using it. This is the final code of this project. Now let's run this project and see everything is working. Let's quickly input some values and check if everything is working. As you can see, everything is working fine. You can download this project. Link is in the description.